She had had so little choice. Breathe, accept, wait. The wave of dizziness and nausea retreated a little. Alison found she was leaning against a wall between two shops, rather like a drunk steadying himself as he tried to weave his way home late at night. Awareness returned to her, the smooth coldness of a drain pipe against her clutching fingers, the chill sting of the rain and the heavy, greasy smell of the street market. She was standing in front of a shop she had not seen before. High street shops came and went, of course, and it was a good 10 years since she had been in Marlborough, maybe more. She tried not to count most of the time. The shop was actually an art gallery, all high-tech lighting and huge windows, its modernity blaringly incongruous in the middle of Marlborough's high street old-world charm. Most of the paintings Alison could see through the window were equally strident, highly coloured, swirling patterns in oil with huge price tags and no artistic merit in her opinion. Not that she knew much about art. She drew for pleasure and had done since she was a child, but she had no training and no technique to speak of. To the right of the enormous bow window was a pastoral scene with a spotlight trained on it. It might have been an antique. Alison could not really tell. Below the canvas ran a broad white shelf that stretched along the full length of the showroom. There were a number of smaller paintings displayed there, mainly portraits, and she knew at once that they were old, 16th century to judge from the style and the type of clothing. There was King Henry VIII, painted at the moment his glorious golden youthfulness was changing into something more watchful and inimical. When Alison had been a child, his name had been used to frighten them all into obedience. "Behave yourself, or old King Hal will come to get you." When she had been young, she had had no idea what he had looked like, but her imagination had supplied the image of a monster. She had seen hundreds of pictures of him since, of course. The English were proud of their infamous spouse-murdering monarch. Distance had lent the sort of affection to his memory that had never been felt in her own time. It was odd seeing Henry now, a relic, a throwback to her past. It unsettled her. Alison's gaze travelled on to the next portrait on the shelf, that of a woman, standing, her hands folded demurely in that style, so beloved of artists who wanted to persuade the viewer that Tudor womanhood was modest and decorous. The display light cast a shadow across her face. Alison strained closer to see. This was no one as instantly recognisable as Henry, and yet there was a familiarity about her. It was a face she knew. Mary Seymour. Alison's breath stopped. There was a tight pain in her chest and a buzzing in her ears. Mary, after all this time. She had never given up hope. It wasn't in her nature to despair, although she had come very close to it many times. All the history books, those that mentioned Mary Seymour at all, said that she had died as a child. Alison had known that was not true, but she had never discovered what had happened to Mary after she had left Wolf Hall. "Help me," she had said to Mary all those years ago. "Help me to find my son. I'll come back for him. Leave me word." She had not begged, precisely. Her relationship with Mary had been too prickly to allow her to show that vulnerability. She had phrased it as an order, but Mary had known. There had been a bargain between them. She had helped Mary escape Wolf Hall and, in return, Mary had promised to help her. Mary was the key to finding Arthur. She had always been, and so Alison had held tenaciously to the belief that one day she would see Mary again. And now she had. Suddenly she felt faint with shock, trembling, tears pricking her eyes. "Are you all right?" Someone was addressing her, a woman with a plastic rain hat and an anxious expression. She spoke in the tones of someone who feels obliged to offer help, but sincerely hopes it isn't going to be needed. Alison forced a smile. "I'm fine, thanks. I tripped over the edge of the pavement and winded myself for a moment." The woman